Everyone, thanks for joining us at the table. As you can see, I have with me tonight Ian Thornton. Ian, thanks for being here tonight.
You bet, man. Good evening.
This is not a Testimony Tuesday. This is our regular show. I just brought Ian on to talk a little bit. I want to continue what we were talking about last week with stepping out in faith and going from this level to this level to this level until you're up here before you know it. So tonight we want to talk about stepping in, like stepping into the presence of God.
Oh, okay.
So what do you think? You want to join me in that
Man,
conversation?
yeah, absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'd love it.
We got a little bit of coffee with us tonight too, so we'll be drinking our coffee while we're here. Kind of go along with the coffee with God.
Cheers. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. So, the Chiefs won.
Yes, they did.
The Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Yes, they did.
The reason I bring that up, if we can just kind of diverge for a moment, is I had found something on Facebook, and apparently it went very viral.
Yes.
I saw it many, many times, that if I don't remember the guy's name now.
Bob Jones.
A prophetic minister who had said that that God told him that when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, that would mark the beginning of a great revival.
Yes.
Now, many of us believe that revival has been coming for a while.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and not only that, God does not need to wait on a professional football team to win the Super Bowl to start a revival. No. But it was kind of like a marker.
It was, yes.
A way for him to show, and there were many things that go along with that. The fact that it's been 50 years since they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
50 years being a year of Jubilee.
Year of Jubilee.
And it was on 2/2/20.
Right.
2/2/2020, which also was a palindrome, interestingly enough. But there's just so many other things that go along with that. The fact that they were down by 10 points with 6 minutes left is when they scored their first touchdown, 6 being the number of man. And then they score 7 points 3 times in that last 6 minutes. Was pretty incredible.
That is incredible.
So, I mean, that is all wonderful, but if the Chiefs would have lost last night, I would have still said there's probably a revival coming, because I believe God is bringing a revival. But for those who needed a sign, but the thing is, we want to be careful about signs too, because we shouldn't just go out and say, okay, God, where's the revival, and start looking around. We have to let God do his work.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that the Chiefs won, and that it's a good marker for what has been prophesied. And this man had many prophecies come true.
Yes, sure did.
But at the same time, we have to remember who God is, and he's to be glorified and praised and worshiped.
That's right.
And not the Kansas City Chiefs. So that's all I want to say about that.
Okay.
You got anything you want to add to that? Or?
No, you pretty well covered it.
Okay.
But I do think it does tie into the stepping in. You know, when you said whether the Chiefs win or lose, that it's about what the Lord and what the Lord is doing, that ties into what you talked about last week as far as stepping out.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about some this week of stepping in, because we're stepping into where the Lord is working, what he's doing, joining him outside of our realm of security.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Right.
And stepping into where he is and what he's doing.
And that is so important, because when we know that God is talking to us, we know that he's calling us to do something, we can kind of withdraw and not want to do it. We can not want to step out, but at the same time, when we do step in to accepting that promise that he's made, accepting what he has said,
right,
believing in him and stepping into his presence, that opens up a whole new ball game there.
Oh, my word. It does. It really does. It takes us to a whole new level of even our own trust in the Lord, into what he wants to accomplish through us. We step into a realization of, wow, man, God really does want to use me.
Yeah.
He cares about me and loves me that much. And he also cares about those around me, that he wants me to step into this.
Right.
So it really, it takes us to a new level, but it takes our relationship with the Lord to a new level,
Yes.
a whole new level of trust. It's really exciting.
It is. And let's talk for a moment about how the spiritual gifts work into this. Okay. So for example, you take a test, for example, and say you have the gift of mercy.
Okay.
Okay, we'll use that one as an example. And now you may be wondering, well, what do I do with this? And first of all, you have to accept that, this
Yes.
assessment says this is what I put down, and this is me, and this is what the gift of mercy is. Having compassion for people and knowing when they're having a bad day, things like that.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's the Spirit that's doing that, when you step into that and say, okay, I'm accepting this gift, God can then use you and show you more what that gift can do.
Yes.
You have to accept it, though.
Yes.
So by stepping in first and saying, okay, I accept this, God, now you can step out and use it, and he'll confirm for you all the time.
Yes, he will. Because it goes back to relationship. As much as he wants that person who is in need of mercy being shown to them, because God wants for them,
Right.
but he also wants to build relationship with us. And so once we take that step of stepping out in faith and stepping into trusting him, then our relationship, and I know I just said this, but I think it's really important that our relationship does deepen with the Lord. Oftentimes the depth of our relationship is dependent upon the depth of our trust.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. It can, and that's husband and wife, that's,
Absolutely.
children and parents, on all these different levels. But that is the same with the Lord.
Absolutely.
As our trust deepens with him, then our relationship deepens with him because we know that he's not going to leave us nor forsake us.
Right.
And all of those promises come to light.
Right. That's true. And, it's easy to say that. And I believe many people hear that in church. They hear it in a sermon. They say, yes, lean not on your own understanding. I don't. But then when it comes right down to it, yeah, we kind of do.
Yeah, we do. And I'm guilty.
Me too.
I am as guilty as anyone else. But that willingness to leave the ledge, so to say, and to step into what the Lord has for us, there's really no experience like that.
Right.
And it allows your heart to settle into understanding that God loves you, he cares for you, he trusts you.
Yeah.
Sometimes more than we trust ourselves.
Yes.
But he does want to draw us into a deeper relationship with him, so that he can show himself,
right,
to be glorified.
And in showing himself, we need to be careful. God cannot be limited. He is limitless. Okay?
Yes, he is.
He is unlimited in all that he can do. The Bible says in more than one place, and I can't remember exactly where now, with God, all things are possible. In Luke chapter 2, and again in Matthew, somewhere he says it as well, that with God, all things are possible. And that is so true. He is without limits.
Right.
But sometimes we try to limit God. Well, are we limiting God, or are we limiting ourselves when we kind of hold back? Because we can't limit God.
Right. We're limiting the effectiveness of him through us. It's really us holding back all that he wants to accomplish through us. And it can be, real life situations are, let's just use mercy. You brought up mercy. So you go to the grocery store.
Okay.
And you're getting your groceries, and you walk past a lady, could be towards the end of the day. She's just gone off work. She's standing there, and she just looks worn and tired, and she's probably there picking up food that she can rush home and try and make for dinner. You're picking up on all of those things, and that's the spirit of work of the Lord working through you, right?
That's right.
He is showing you through your own eyes, and he's touching the senses of your heart, and he's showing you, okay, look, is there something that this woman is in need of, and it is the mercy that you've been gifted with.
Right.
But we don't know her.
Right.
So, you know what? I'll just say a little prayer as I walk past.
Guilty of that.
I can't tell stories on anybody but myself. Right. You know what I mean? So you're just like, you know what? That's me.
Yeah.
And so what more could God have done through you for her to see him?
Yeah.
And it really is unlimited.
It is.
It really is unlimited.
So we put our own limits on God in a sense,
Yeah.
and that goes back to not trusting, maybe not
Yeah.
having faith, or sometimes maybe it's, let me give you a story.
Okay.
And this is what I'm trying to say is sometimes it's our own selfishness.
Okay.
Okay. It was the winter, I don't know what year it was, early 2000s. Okay. And I'm shoveling the driveway in this house I was living in.
Okay.
And I reached into my pocket. I took my glove off, and I reached in my pocket, and I found a $20 bill. I didn't know it was there. I don't know how long it had been there. Okay.
That's awesome.
But you know what the first thing that came to mind was?
Yeah.
Give that to your neighbor with a note that says, God wanted me to give this to you. No name or anything. Now, he would have known it came from me, I think,
Okay.
because we didn't have it. There was nobody living in between us at the time. There was an empty house. And I'm pretty sure he probably would have figured it out. But still, I didn't do it. I said, no, that wasn't God. Besides, I can use this $20. Right?
Your story's worse than mine.
I know it is. I know. I can't make this stuff up.
I know.
But that has bothered me.
Yeah.
And I finally let it go. And I finally took it to God. And I told him I was wrong.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I got some freedom out of that too.
Oh, amen.
But by admitting that he wasn't letting that go. We sometimes think, oh, well, God will forget about that. No, I haven't seen God ever forget anything. But who knows maybe that man at that time, he was single at the time. He had been living with his mom, but she had got another job and moved somewhere else. So he took over the house, and who knows? Maybe he didn't have milk for breakfast or something that day.
Yeah.
That $20 could have helped him.
Yeah.
But I held back.
Yeah. Selfishness.
Yeah, it was.
And that is, selfishness or fear, in my
Yeah.
case, and
Yeah.
but I mean, we can make a laundry list, Phil, of reasons why we don't step into the opportunities that God has before us, to put him on display. But it's great too, because here we're sitting here, we're laughing about some of these things too, and at the same time it's because we understand that God's forgiveness is unlimited.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
there is freedom, and I love that point. You brought that
Yeah.
up. The freedom that we receive from asking for forgiveness and moving on. God has more opportunities around the corner for us.
Yeah.
He's always casting an invitation for us to join him in what he's doing.
Always.
He is always, and we get to be a part of that. It's
Yeah.
some language that you and I use often. We
Yeah.
get to do this. We get to be a part of what the Lord's doing,
Right.
and we really do. And it's much deeper than what we think.
Oh, yeah.
It goes far beyond what we expect at times. And so, every moment of each day, as we accept this invitation and we step into what the Lord has for us, we get deeper and deeper into who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And
We know him more. We
Yes,
trust him more.
relationship.
We want to be, yes. We
Yeah.
build that relationship with him.
we
And
do.
That is so important.
It is because so many people look at us, and they're, and I don't mean you and I, but people are
Sure,
looking
I know
for
what you mean.
hope. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
People are looking for hope. They're looking for what is this thing I'm missing in my life, and they don't even know what thing they're looking for.
Right.
At times, but as we are intentionally stepping into this relationship that God is inviting us into, then people take notice of that, and their hearts become hungry, and their mouths become thirsty
Yeah.
to have that relationship, not a relationship with Ian, not a relationship with Phil.
Right.
They're really pursuing and seeking that relationship with the Lord.
And I'm glad you said that, because when you have a relationship with another person, there are limits to it in a sense,
Yes.
because
Great point.
because we're humans and we are limited. Mm-hmm. We are very limited in our understanding and our comprehension, especially comprehension of who God is. But so we have to be careful not to treat our relationship with God the same way we would treat our relationship with other people, whether a friendship or a spouse or a child, because it is different because we're dealing with someone who's unlimited,
Yeah.
limitless.
Right.
And we can't, okay, gonna tell myself again.
This is great. Hope you guys are loving this.
This is the continuation of my testimony. There's times when I will do something and I know it makes Tanya mad, okay? And I'll do it anyway. Not always. I'm getting better at that. Right, Tanya? I'm getting better. But no, and sometimes I do it unintentionally too.
Yeah.
Okay. But let's stick with the unintentional things. Like, I know that I've done something to upset her. Okay, I can just tell by her demeanor and everything. She doesn't always tell me what it is right away, but I know I've done something, so I'm trying to figure it out. Well, in my past, I would apply that same kind of thing to God. Like, oh, well, God's mad at me. How many of you have ever said that? Now,
It's a great question.
the book of Hebrews tells us that he what's the word? That he disciplines the ones he loves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Chastises. Chastens. Yes, that's the word, chastens. The ones that he loves. But we have to be careful to know that God is right there with the forgiveness the moment we come back to him. And Tanya's too. Don't get me wrong. It didn't come out the right way.
I'm sure she is.
She is. But I mean, sometimes though, people will hold grudges.
Yeah.
People will say, well, you did this to me, so I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
Right.
God's not like that.
Yeah, a performance-based forgiveness.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
I saw this thing where there was a cat laying over top of a Keurig,
Okay.
and it said, you're not getting this thing until I get something in my bowl. So God's not like that.
Yeah.
God is not saying, you do for me, and then I'll bless you. It's not prosperity doctrine
Right.
and all that. It's God is, okay, you messed up, let me know. I'll forgive, and we'll move on. And that's where the freedom comes.
It is.
And it's unlimited freedom.
Oh man, I just remember just from my own personal life, just that understanding just lets me thank you, thank you, and it does it opens up the gates of communication and the love and his grace and all of that just to flow.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oftentimes, as far as my children are concerned, we have great conversations, but we're always talking about how things affect one another. So if something happens and they have done something wrong, or even myself, if I've said something or if the way I say something is wrong against my children, then I always show them that it's this broken, that our relationship is here. But if I do something against them, then there's a brokenness. There's a separation of relationship. But to come to them and ask for forgiveness, and they are the most wonderful children, and just say, yes, Dad, we forgive you, then it's just this automatic, you feel the restoration of that.
Yeah.
And come to understand that once that restoration happens, it's almost like a broken bone, that where the bone is fused back together and is healed is stronger.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so that relationship continues to grow stronger. And I find the same way with the Lord. When when I have wronged, I have misstepped, and I come to him with an admission of my wrong, then he is ready. He's already waiting, just like what you said.
Yeah.
He's already waiting to bring that restoration. And when that happens, there's much more freedom and thanksgiving of, God, thank you. You are unlimited. You're unlimited in your forgiveness. You're unlimited in your love. You're unlimited in your restoration. And that just further increases and brings value for me to our relationship.
Yep. And it's important for all of us to know that if there's someone we're not forgiving, we need to
That's right.
give that forgiveness, not for them, for us.
Right.
Because when we offer forgiveness, and sometimes it can be very hard,
Oh,
depending
yeah.
on what has happened.
Right.
It might take a while. But when we can offer that forgiveness, that opens up the door for us to build our relationship with God even stronger.
It does.
Because that forgiveness, not that unforgiveness, can be a hindrance between you and God. Whether God, I mean, I don't believe God's putting it there. I believe it's in our spirit. We know that because of that unforgiveness, we're holding ourselves back from God, knowing that we're holding that grudge.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So when we let go of that, that opens the floodgates for God to come in. And I mean, He's there
does.
waiting.
It
It's
does.
not on God, it's on us.
Right. Yeah. And if we, and you know, to follow up too with, you know, the unforgiveness or holding that grudge, all that does, you know, that grudge to me is like me handing the enemy some kindling.
Yeah.
And he's, or, you know, here's a gas can.
Yeah,
You know, go ahead
right.
and use this, you know, against my relationship with the Lord, because, you know, I hold on to this grudge and I know that I've done something wrong or that I'm not forgiving. And so then automatically, you know, I just start
Yeah,
getting these
either
thoughts.
way, that's right.
Right. You know, you get these thoughts of, well, you know, God's not going to listen because of this, and this.
Right.
You know, and so it's just, you feel this, you know, this separation just continuing. And the longer that you don't ask for that restoration or that forgiveness, then the further and further you feel, and the more the enemy just stretches and stretches and stretches and gives you more and more excuse not to step into his presence.
And where is He that whole time?
I know, right?
Right there.
I know, right beside you.
Never is this far away.
No,
Never.
No.
We often put ourselves that far away from
yeah.
God.
But we buy into the lie.
We buy into the lie, yeah.
Yeah.
I did that one time. I did something and I believed that I heard God say, and I know I didn't now, but I believed that God said to me, okay, you can't talk to me for 3 days.
Wow.
Would God ever tell anyone, you can't talk to me for 3 days? Never. I don't care what you do. He would never tell you that. That didn't come from God.
My gracious.
It tore me up the first day until I finally realized, wait a minute, God would never say that. And I went to God and I said, God, I'm sorry for believing that lie. And immediately got the restoration. But that was a rough day for me
I bet it was.
because I really believed I wasn't allowed to talk to God for 3 days. And no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I can never, I cannot, I cannot imagine walking up to one of my children.
Yeah. And saying you can't talk to me for 3 days.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, I
That
could
is
never do
awful.
Yeah.
My word.
Yeah, it is.
But there again, I mean, the enemy has come to steal, kill, and destroy. I mean,
and
you
its
know,
greatest weapon is deceit.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, that lie just, it's so destructive,
Yeah.
just so destructive.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't
Yeah,
believe
man.
that one for
Praise the
very
Lord.
long. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But so I guess what we're trying to get at here tonight is to let yourself be stretched.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
let yourselves be
that's right.
stretched. Let yourselves know that God is limitless. Let yourselves know that God is forgiving.
Wow.
Don't hold back going to God with anything that you need forgiveness for. And don't hold forgiveness of some other person for what they've done to you. You know, have you ever heard the saying, forgive and forget?
Yes.
Do you think we really have to forget? I mean, I don't think it's dangerous sometimes to forget, okay? Because you can forgive, but if you forget, then it can happen again. You know what I mean?
I do.
You agree? Or
No, I do.
Okay.
My memory has served me well in a few instances.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, you know, and it's one of those things too. You know, you forgive. At the same time, an understanding of what has taken place, I believe, adds to wisdom and counsel
Yeah.
on a few fronts. So I'm not. I understand the idea behind the saying of forgive and forget. At the same time, be as wise as serpents and innocent as doves.
Yeah.
So there's a balance there.
Yep. And with the few minutes we have remaining, I want to tell us another story that I used this in a sermon one time.
Is it about you?
No, it's not about me.
Oh, well.
This one's
Okay, yeah,
definitely.
it's not-
It may sound like it's about me when I'm telling it, but it's not about me. Okay.
Yeah, I think we just lost everybody because we're enjoying stories about you tonight.
No, this is a great story though, and you may
Okay.
have heard it before too. I've certainly heard it more than one time. So there was a young boy who was constantly getting in trouble in school. Every day he came, was it you? Every
I'm
day,
like,
every day he'd come home
knows.
from school, he'd have a paper where he got in trouble.
Okay.
And his dad would meet him at the bus, and he'd read the paper. And his dad said, okay, from now on, every time you come home from school and you bring home one of these papers, I'm pounding a nail into the fence post. He had to walk through this gate and see the nails in the fence post. And it got to the point where there were nails up and down this fence post, okay?
Boy.
And then he realized, where's he going to put the next nail? So he started changing his behavior. He's growing up a little bit and comes home from school one day, no paper, he didn't get in trouble. His dad takes the nail out. And the boy thinks, I like that. I like that. So the next day he comes home again, every day taking a nail out, until finally he comes home and he was waiting. He was so excited. He said, Dad, take that last nail out. I didn't get in trouble today. So he takes the last nail out and he says to his son, very good, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
He says, but I want you to see something. You can still see where the holes were. The scars still remain. As a reminder,
That's good.
the nails aren't there, but as a reminder, the scars, and Jesus had scars in his
That's
wrist,
right.
as a reminder,
As a reminder.
so that we don't do it again. And that boy would look at those scars and see and realize, I'm not going to put any more nails back in there, and change his behavior forever. So when we see the scars in Jesus' hand, we can know we're forgiven,
That's right.
but also know that we need to turn away from that and not do it again.
That's good. That's
So-
good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're about out of time, but we got a couple more minutes. If you got anything more you want to add to that,
No, just really, how you wrap things up, Phil, with that, and as far as reminder, but just to encourage, I would love to just encourage everyone to step in.
yeah,
It is a ride of your life that you will never forget. It is one of the most amazing things, not always easy,
no,
but it is one of the most amazing things in deepening our relationship with the Lord that has changed my life. I know that
Yeah.
it has changed my life. And even just over this season of being here in Ohio and all that the Lord has done just in my life and for our family, it has been incredible. I've just absolutely loved what's happened, and all from stepping in.
yeah. I was going to say you had to step into that.
I did. I
You
had to
could have
step-
stayed. You could have gone somewhere else.
Yes.
You could have just packed up and went somewhere else. I don't like Ohio. I don't like the snow. Right?
Yeah.
But you decided to stay.
Yes,
And you
and-
decided
and-
to come. You decided to stay, and now things are happening,
Yeah. It's
and it's
pretty-
changed your life.
It has changed my life. I am not the same person
No.
that I was. I'm not the same person the day we first met.
Oh, which was almost 2 years ago to the day.
Exactly.
And actually, I think on the day this airs will be, the next day will be 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool
This
is that?
Thursday will be two. Yeah, that's a story we'll share for another time, but that was quite a day.
That was quite a day, wasn't it?
It
Oh,
was,
Man,
but,
praise the Lord.
So anyway, I'm glad that you were obedient to God and decided to come
Yeah.
to Ohio. And when you came to Ohio, did you think you were going to be a pastor?
No. No. Not
And-
even close.
I remember the day I asked you over in the gazebo, have you ever thought about being a pastor? And never thought it would be at this church. Never. I thought, no, he's not going to be there. But wow, God had other plans, didn't he? But that's part of it. We stepped out
Yes.
of our comfort zone
Yes.
and into something uncomfortable. And God, both of us did.
Yes. Yeah.
I was not real sure about not being a pastor anymore because I knew that he called me to be a pastor, but
Yeah.
and I still am,
Yes.
just not
Yes.
in the normal capacity.
Yeah. We're kind of living in the abnormal.
Yes, we are.
It's been awesome.
Yes,
It
has.
really is. But that's the stepping in.
Yeah,
It's the stepping in, and sometimes you're stepping into something that you can't see.
yeah.
And that's even more so the step of faith.
Yeah.
But once you step into it, then the Lord just begins to reveal. And windows open and the curtains are pulled back. All of those different things. But we're walking by faith.
Yeah.
And it's just exciting. It's just exciting because I just know that God is igniting people's hearts.
Yeah.
Phil, He is igniting people's hearts.
And I'm seeing people change too.
Absolutely.
Whether they see it or not, I'm seeing people change, and it's pretty amazing.
It really is. It's exciting. Man, I thank you for letting me be back.
Hey, I
love
thank you
it.
for being here. We'll have you on again sometime.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and thank you
sounds
all
awesome.
for joining in tonight. We will see you again next week. As of right now, I do not have anybody for Testimony Tuesday, but I'm trusting God to change that. And if it doesn't
Amen.
change, then we'll figure something out. I'm not worried about it. But regardless, either way, we'll see you either Tuesday or Wednesday, definitely Wednesday next week when we meet together at the table. Good night.
Good night.
Comfortable?
Yeah.
I am too. Let me get my legs in here.
Crazily relaxed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. It's the new normal.
It is that new day.
It is.
The Chiefs won.
Yeah, I know. I know. And